Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome to my senior footprint project. So, as many of you know, we go through lots of different stages in life. Some are short, some are easy, others seem to go on forever and ever, and are seemingly endless and difficult beyond any belief. In our 13 years of schooling, have been probably about a mix of the two, as many of us could probably say. There were days in my adventure through school that I questioned if I would ever make it, if some could even believe. The freshman year for me was kind of a year of discovery. I learned a lot about who I was as a person. I found out what high school was like. I made more friends. And I even participated in track, which was a completely new sport to me. And I learned so much over that year. Most of it wasn't even part of my actual schooling. Now, I got up to a few shenanigans. Some of them were in track, some were in regular school, playing the usual freshman pranks and getting up to all the immature hijinks that freshmen have. But it's the silly little memories like that really make freshman year kind of a fun time to look back on for me. And I find that kind of beautiful that I'm able to recognize what freshman year has shown me and taught me. Now, I had done some learning that year. I learned a little bit more about how to approach social situations, how to really just become more into my own, kind of grow as a person. Now, there was definitely lots of homework, considering I was in the advanced math class my freshman year of school, and balancing homework and school and sports and a social life and just trying to make it in the world, just trying to figure out where I was gonna go in my high school career, figure out how I was gonna make all of this insanity work. And I'm sure most of you can probably remember the little span of time we spent in virtual school freshman year over that little Christmas break. And I'm honestly surprised that my computer didn't bust into flames like SpongeBob's here. Considering the hours and hours I spent on Zoom meetings and living almost entirely through my computer, getting up at 6 a.m. every morning to do my work, and hoping and praying that while I was eating breakfast, a teacher didn't decide to start the Zoom. My sophomore year brought my first play, my second season of track and field, which surprisingly had no improvement, and a few more friends that I made along the way. And I really started to realize how much I really had left to learn. Now, math class is hard, because I started Algebra 2, and I swear I have never seen anything that difficult since. It felt like I was reading in a completely different language. It was like learning something that had never been taught before for me. Now, the play, yeah, that was definitely a cult. Very, very much a cult. So we would chant, and we had our long black robes, standing in the dark. We would get up to all sorts of somewhat questionable activities. Thankfully, none illegal, to my knowledge. But, yeah, that play was definitely a cult, and you could tell. We even had our little cult meetings during lunch. And, I'd failed at track and field, very much so. It didn't really matter how much work I put in, how much effort that I just pushed towards track and did everything I could, practicing for an hour after practice is already over, working on my throwing and my running outside of practice, just never could seem to get there. And you know what? That's okay, because I have found other things that I'm good at, and I'm proud of myself that I was able to find something that I could try, recognize that it's not necessarily in my skill set, and just kind of move on from that. Now, sophomore year, I also got my very first vintage sewing machine, which some of you may know that vintage things they're kind of one of my interests. They let me have an insight into the past, and they allow me to look back on where we've been as a society, where we've been as people, and the amazing things that we can do and have done. Now, junior year, yeah, that was a whirlwind. Dual enrollment, so my first college classes, more advanced math with Mr. Lockhart, and just general insanity, really. And I was covered in stress. In that play that year, I was shot many times, but thankfully it was just a play. Thankfully. So, for this play, I played yet another womanizer, which I don't know how I keep getting cast as the womanizer and the neat freak, but some may be able to tell me. Pre-calc, that was a wild ride. Thankfully, we didn't get into derivatives or any of the other more strenuous topics in pre-calculus, but there were definitely some hard points, and I struggled. I surprisingly struggled with math, which is something that most people probably wouldn't believe, is that I actually do have some trouble with math, and I didn't really start realizing that until I got into high school. So that's kind of another thing that I learned about myself along the ride. Now, for my college classes, yeah, those weren't fun. Those were not fun at all. And capstone projects, just be thankful. For those of you who will never have to do one, they're just a mountain of anxiety and nitpicking professors. Now, family consumer science, oh, yes. I took that class with Miss Young, and I darn near taught the class by the end of it. I spent more time helping with other people's projects than I did working even on my own. Now, senior year, this has felt like the longest, but somehow the shortest year of my life. There's so very much to do, but so little time, and the year seems to stretch and squeeze. And this is really where the ebb and flow of life really starts to begin. And I still have so much left to learn, so many more classes to take. Really, in the end, this is just the beginning. I'm beginning my new life. And this year I have my last play of high school, and it was one of the best times I'd ever had, spending time with people I care about, making even more new friends, making connections that will probably last me a lifetime, and just being able to live out one of my greatest passions in life. And now, even more college classes. Intro to psychology and public speaking, those really weren't fun. But, it's learning. I understand so much more about the world and so much more about myself now that I've taken classes such as these. And it's really opened my eyes to what I am as a person. It kind of provided me a little bit of introspection and understanding of the world and of myself. Now, prom, as many of you can probably say, things got pretty wild. I got wild. I was the party animal. I was busting it down on that dance floor, and I was just having the time of my life. And it really was surprisingly fun. It was nice to just step back every so often and just watch everybody smiling and just having a great time. And I think it's beautiful that we can have so much pain on the inside and somehow come out and have such a great time. At least seem like we're having a good time. Senioritis. I never thought it would hit me. But these past few weeks, it has just been so so difficult to stay on track. I I just almost can't take it anymore, really. And as you can probably have seen and heard and experienced, high school has just been a wild ride for all of us, and it's just been filled with so many things. Some things hurt, some things helped us, and some things helped us through the hurting. And others, you just have no clue what's going on, even when it's been explained so many times. And it's probably been about 500,000 times in the past 10 minutes. And we learned so much, and it was so much fun. And when it comes time for it to be over, maybe we realize that it wasn't that bad after all. Maybe, just maybe, there was a reason that the teachers kept dogging us to get things done, even though it was so frustrating and annoying, and we didn't want to have to listen to them anymore. Maybe they just wanted us to succeed. Maybe they wanted us to get somewhere in life and actually learn something about ourselves and about the world, and really just how to be a good person. Maybe they wanted us to be what they know that we can be.